Hi, welcome back to the channel. So here we are on the gateway to Scenic Rim, Bow Desert. Just went over there and gave my bike a first wash. 1200 Ks, it's about a month old, so I thought I'd better wash it. But what I found with the previous trousers that I owned, really shouldn't be scrubbing or overly watering these bikes. There's no salts on the road in Australia, so I'm going to get most of the mud off. Obviously if you're doing off-road riding, everything's different, but it's a general road riding. Just use a chamois for the petrol tank, but you don't need to be just, unless you like washing, cleaning things. I mean, I understand that, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a bike that wears better the less you rub it, we can rub. I have no experience in cleaning bikes other than just putting the hose on, drying them off, and I normally put CRC, WD-40 just to cover any metal, but it's all alloy and I really don't think there's anything on this bike that's going to rust. So yeah, but it's been going good, like 47 horsepower, 43 newton meters of torque. It's been described as a mini sort of Transalp, but I don't know if I concur with that. It's a bit slightly different bike. It looks pretty similar when you look from the cockpit view, as I said on other video. And you could mistake that for a Transalp, except for the red. I'm thinking a Transalp would have been good in red, Wouldn't look too bad. And it's classic Honda red versus the red, That's what I like about this, First red bike I've had, and I think it's like any bike. From certain angles, a bike can look pretty ordinary, and from other angles it can look pretty good. It's like the Versys 650, from different angles it looked maybe a bit like a 50s, bit twee the design, but then you look at it from another angle and it looked like a proper mean adventure bike, the Versys 650. Same with a Transalp, and it all depends. Like I put this top box on, which is really practical, but it looks a bit like a hat box, doesn't it? Because it's expandable and I've got it stuffed full of stuff, and all important stuff. It's not like I've got superficial stuff in. I've got air pump tools, wet weather gears, and torches, all that sort of stuff. But it looks like a hat box. Sort of got me, like I'm carrying a hat around. Oh well, we don't let our egos get in the road. But I think overall she's a good looking bike. It's not something like you, and it looks like a full-size bike. That's the good thing about it. It's only 500cc. So as we're getting older and our core strength's diminishing, we don't have to worry so much with this bike. It's not a lightweight. It is 196 kilos. So it's definitely still not a lightweight bike, but we don't have to worry so much about a 21-inch front wheel like a Transalp, or the Suzuki 800, which I think still has a 21-inch front wheel, or an Africa Twin, so forth. But you got all that weight forward, this here over a 21-inch front wheel, and it can make it tippy, So I think this is a lot better balanced bike. If you are not too tall, about 172 centimeters, about 176 centimeters. I think it's a perfect height for this bike. I've only got 28-inch legs inseam from the bottom of my heel to where my thigh meets the torso. That's a proper leg measurement. Standing up straight, your leg, not your leg inseam. We call it a leg inseam out of habit. But so it is the relationship between the peg and the seat, a triangle, to where your knee bends like that up to your seat, is more acute than the Transalp, for example. So if you have got long legs, like that 30-inch plus, you may get a bit of knee pain on this bike, because I've only got 28 inch inseam, but it's short, and I've got the slightest slightest twinge of pain. Up to about 2, but today I had none. So we've got to adapt to the bike. We've got to get used to the knee bend on an unfamiliar bike. But I would recommend, I think you can modify the pegs, slow them down a bit with an aftermarket accessories, but I would definitely think about that if you're a taller rider, because even a Transalp hasn't got that much wiggle room. If you're about 6'4" on Transalp, you may get on it and say, oh, this is fine, you know, I've got plenty of room, but after a 5-hour ride, you may have knee pain, and you don't want that, because with a Transalp and a Spike so far, but with Transalp definitely you can ride that bike all day and not feel that, you know, you should be able to ride it all day, and you don't want knee pain spoiling it. So you can get a taller seat for a Transalp as well. Same with this, you can get it, I think you can get an aftermarket lower seat, and I would only put the aftermarket lower seat if you're about 26-inch legs, so 27-inch legs. Yeah, it's good to get as much purchase on the ground as possible with your knee. You don't want a straight leg if you can avoid it. You want a flat foot, you want a bent leg, so you can get more pivot strength. It makes a world of difference how much you can lean your bike over without tipping it if your knee's bent. So what you can do is get higher sole boots, like Tuken boots, which enable more purchase for the ground, so your knee would be bent. This is giving you an extra. The Tuken's Alpine Cycle, Tuken's Gore-Tex, they give you about that much more height at the sole, at the width of the sole where you want it. You don't want it on your toe box. It's narrower than this bike. This is narrow at the sole, the width, but gets wider at the toe box, which is not what you want, because the narrower it is, the less flat foot feeling you get on the bike purchase, and it's harder to change gears with a fixed fin, where the Tukens are the opposite, and they still give you 70% protection. So it's something to consider if you're very short, if you're like me and a bit shorter. You can do it with boots, and you can do it with a low seat if you're 26-inch legs. So there's ways around it. But you can, what I'm trying to hint at, you can lower a bike too much with a seat and bring in knee pain that you didn't have before. So it's all, with motorbikes, it's all touch and go. It's all, you gain one hand and it takes away from the other. It's how much it takes away. So you might gain 70% that hand, and with the other hand you might only lose 30%. So it's all a balancing act. So alright, I think I'm going to continue my ride. The sun's shining. Had a lot of rain, so I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of ride, and then before the next storm comes. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.